as soon as you have a mask on, you're going to be Slipknot. People don't want to look past the mask and hear the music. I plugged my guitar in and I just kind of hit some strings and went to flip the volume just to make sure everything was working. And I just heard crackling.
What's up, everybody? We're back. I got a cool video for you today. In this video, I sat down with the guitarist Justin Coleman. He plays in the band Amerakin Overdose, and they are awesome. And he's a Rocklock sponsored artist. Hold on a second. He's a Rocklock sponsored artist. Rocklock is my favorite strap lock system. Link in the description if you want to learn more. Anyways, I asked him about playing in a mask, how he got involved in the band, and we do a quick rig rundown of his touring rig. I hope you guys like this conversation as much as I did. So we're in different time zones. We did this one real late for me, so you're gonna see me in my house instead of in my studio. No white casting couch for this one. And one more thing before we get into it, Amerakin Overdose has a new album out right now. It's called Artificial Infection. It's awesome. Go check it out. Streaming everywhere. Links in the description on where to pick it up. And I think that's all I got for you before we get into this. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoy this conversation. This is a chat with Justin Coleman of Amerakin Overdose. I've done Halloween shows where I've dressed up and everything, but your band has a very, extensive and very, unique live look to them. I want to know what it's like playing in a mask and just, can you see things okay? Does it get hot up there? What's it like playing in your outfit on stage?
Yeah, so, you can see fine that my eyes are cut down low, and my friend that made my mask, actually, he's in a band, so he understands you've got to see, so he takes that into account. So yeah, seeing's fine. The hard part about seeing is we wear contacts. That was weird to get used to because you're always tunnel vision, and your eyes water a little bit more, and so that's different. But yeah, it's so hot in that thing. We're playing Rockfest in next month in, I can't pronounce it, Cadott, Wisconsin, and we're playing at night, luckily, but the band played there last year and they all had heat stroke and stuff. But yeah, my mask is a half-inch thick of silicone and it's form-fitted to my face. So I have a concrete mold out in my shop that they build the clay around and make the mask to me. So there's nowhere for sweat to go. Basically, it finds its way to the front, and when I lean down to look at my guitar, it just dumps out like a half a cup. It's pretty bad. So yeah, we're doing a 90-minute set at Rockfest. I might take it off halfway now.
Now, is everybody's mask in your band like that?
Our drummers is. Our mask was made by the same guy, and our two singers, Pito and Cody, they're brothers actually. Theirs are more, they're like a thinner latex, I guess. And our bass player, Josh, his is like a kind of a fabric. So they have a little easier than the drummer Brick and I do. But, you get used to it. And we were playing in Iowa. Everywhere it's hot anyways, so you're going to sweat no matter what. But yeah, it's pretty bad. It's 30 degrees hotter in there than it should be.
How often do you guys get compared to Slipknot and Mushroomhead? Just for the masks?
A lot. Yeah, it's funny. We're actually friends with the old singer of Mushroomhead. He's actually on one of our videos, Waylon. He's in Killer's Confession now. We just did a show with them a couple months ago. That was my first show with the band, actually. Everyone, as soon as you have a mask on, you're going to be Slipknot because so many bands wear masks, but they've made it to the spotlight. So that's really everyone's comparison. But to me, it's I've been listening to Gwar way longer than I've been listening to Slipknot, and they're my, original mask band, but I don't compare us to Gwar. So it's just, I don't know. It's a little annoying. People don't want to look past the masks and hear the music. They're we had a comment yesterday. It's oh, well, you would sound better without masks. And we're like, what? How does that relate to the sound? Yeah, when I joined the band, I had the option to do face paint or something else. They're you have to do something. It's the theatrics. And they've all three of them had evolved to masks. And I'm hey, I'd rather us be unified and look like a band. So I chose to make a mask and go with it. And yeah, it's different, but it's neat. You can let loose a little more on stage. You feel a little not yourself. And when you're playing shows, you really aren't yourself. You are, but you're putting on a show and you're in front of people. I don't do that on a normal basis. So many different ways you're not yourself up there anyway. So it doesn't matter.
So how'd you get involved with the band?
So we've known Cody and Brick for a long time. It's actually funny. So our bass player is my drummer in every other band I've been in. And I've been playing with him for 26, 27 years. So anyway, our first singer, we were 13, didn't know what we were doing, playing cover songs. We had some originals, but we kicked the singer out and pops up on AOL, his buddy Cody, calling us, jerks, and you guys suck. You're never going to do anything. And that's Cody, our singer. So we've known him since middle school. They've been doing their own thing. Josh and I, the bass player in AOD / my drummer. We've always been like thrash metal and, you know, a little death metal, and just kind of dabbled and had a bunch of different bands together. And we always just been friends with Cody and been like, you know what, your AODs, it used to not really be what we were into. It was, you know, the industrial metal stuff, and we weren't into it, but it's like Cody was our buddy. And so we ported him and we played a lot of shows with him. You know, we just totally admired his hard work. I mean, that guy, he's a workaholic as far as the band goes. He puts everything into it. And so if we had someone like him in our bands, we would have went a lot further, you know, long ago, because he's that guy. Years down the road, you know, this was probably about a year ago now almost. And we were at a birthday party or something, you know, we're all together, and Cody's talking. He's like, yeah, man, I'm worried. We got a few shows coming up and we lost our guitar player and our bassist. And I'm sitting there with Josh and we're looking at Cody. We're like, we're going to do it. And he's like, really? He's like, I thought you hated us. I'm like, no, don't hate you. I'm like, but you're a buddy, you know, we want to help you out. So we just jumped in head first, and we're going to help him out with a few shows. And it's funny because he was like, yeah, we got Medford Metal Fest and Milwaukee Metal Fest. Well, I know Medford's a few hours south and Milwaukee's an hour north. Weeks later, he's like, no, not Milwaukee, Oregon, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, we're going on tour. I'm like, oh, things are changing, you know? I ended up buying a bunch of equipment and just learning all the songs at a record rate, you know, like trying to get ready. Once I got into everything, just the chemistry we all had that I never expected, you know, being that we've been friends for so long, all of us, it felt right at home. And we didn't know if it was going to be a temporary fill-in, help them out or what. And then within weeks, I was like, no, I'm going to stay in this. This is fun. And the new music is great. Unfortunately, I came in at the end of the writing process of the new album. So I got to help a little with vocals and a little bit of arrangement, but pretty much we want to jump into the studio as soon as we can and have me start writing. So that'll be really cool.
What would you say your main influences are for writing for this band? Are you a fan of any new metal bands?
All of them. I'm old school, man. I love, you know, Korn and Limp Bizkit and all the mainstream bands. No One, they kind of disappeared. The Deadlights, you know, all the stuff that came out early 2000s, I still listen to that nonstop. 36 Crazy Fists, I don't know if you'd consider them. Dry Kill Logic, all that stuff. As far as influence, I want to play what's fun for all of us. Keep the sound that they've already established. You know, I can't come in and be like, oh, hey, we're going to do my style now. You know, just everything, man. When I write, it's, you know, the downstroke, down picking of James Hetfield to strumming of, I don't know, Smashing Pumpkins, whatever, you know, just whatever sounds right for that part. And so I just take it all, throw it in a barrel and play.
Let's talk about gear real quick. So you mentioned that you kind of had to fit into this band. Was it your bassist too was new as well?
Yeah.
What was the thought process for creating this touring rig? Like, did you have to work in with the other band members, or did you kind of have like free reign on designing what you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing, I got the Helix because I had to learn all these songs and use a bunch of different effects that I hadn't really ventured into. And I knew with the Helix, I could recreate anything. Another thing is I have another pedal board and it's like 28 pedals, you know, all individual. This band really has a lot of things going at once. Like you'll break into a verse and all of a sudden you have 5 effects going. And I can't jump around the pedal board and turn all those on. I really want it simple, and I don't want 28 patch cables between all my pedals that can go bad during a show. So it really just kind of took me to the Helix. I have a couple of other pedals on there, a Morley Wah, a Boss harmonizer, and then basically my DI, which I know Helix has a DI, but I had to have special accommodations. And then my Shure tuner wireless. And pretty much, yeah, just simplicity wise, like when we did, I think actually all the shows I've done, I've used an amp on stage. I have the orange pedal baby and basically a noise gate suppressor, compressor, but that's more kind of a backup. I have it playing really low on the stage, and then I DI to our in-ear system, and then I DI out to the PA. It's kind of complex and a lot of cables going around to hook it up, but it's reliable, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and that kind of setup is standard today. I mean, even you having a cab on stage is kind of like rare, I would say.
I'm old school, like I said. I don't know. It was hard for me to break away. They're like, oh, just get the Helix and DI. I'm like, I never heard of this. you know? And now that I'm more comfortable with it, I don't think I'm going to take my cab on tour. I'm probably just going to use the Helix because I'm confident in that now. With this last run we did, I took a 212 PV cab. So it's not huge, and it's just, something to have up there. But I kind of like having the, with my pedal baby, I've got the sound gate compressor rack mounted, and I like that just to kind of clean up that very end of fuzz that might come out of the, my pedal board. So
do you use that in addition to the noise gate on your Helix?
I do a light noise gate because it doesn't really, the PA doesn't pick up the fuzz like the amp does. I mean, the string movements.
Yeah.
It seems to be different. Like because we practice through a PA just to make sure our levels are right because we have backing tracks, samples and whatnot. So yeah, it seems to get less noise out of the PA than it does out of the amp. So I just buffer the end of it with the gate. So
Or is everything switched through MIDI, or do you do it yourself?
no, we're working on that. The thing is with the Helix, you have to make everything into a snapshot. I have some parts while I have a couple pedals on, but I have other ones that are momentary, and I'm kind of bouncing between them. So it's a little more complex than just having a snapshot for this verse does these effects. I have to be a little more in control. So we're trying to find out a way. I know you can do a snapshot. We'll pull most of the effects and you can still control some. So we just didn't have time on before this tour to worry about it.
What guitars do you take on the road?
This last time I took the white Schecter and the red LTD right there.
Okay, those are pretty different.
It took me a while to figure it out. It was bothering me for weeks. Like, wow, what am I going to take? And I really like the Schecter. That one's 25.5 scale. So is the blue one. The rest are all, standard 24 3/4. So I like the longer scale. I literally brought the red one because I got it for pretty cheap. And I just wanted a backup guitar, which worked great. We were literally playing our intro at Metal Fest, and I plugged my guitar in and I just kind of hit some strings and went to flick the volume just to make sure everything was working. And I just heard crackling.
Mm.
And I looked down and when I plugged in the guitar, it had actually broke the input into the guitar. Funny, I'm up there. I hadn't tuned that LTD in like the whole tour. It was just sitting in the hot van. And so I'm up on stage with the intro playing, tuning as fast as I could so I could play. So it saved me.
What's your main tuning?
We play everything in drop B. The old stuff is all like D and C and a bunch of other things, but I think we've revamped all the samples into a lower key so we can just play one tuning the whole time. We do have one song we play in C, and I just use the Helix to kick up my tuning, just one notch. I just have a patch for it and don't have to tune my guitar.
And that tracks well and everything?
It's barely delayed, but that song's not very technical. And I've learned to play a little ahead of the beat.
Really?
It's not ideal, but it works. And because when we're playing, like especially at Metal Fest, we had a 20-minute set and we wanted to punch in 5 songs, and we were at like 20.5 minutes. So we literally had no time between songs. There's no way I'm changing guitars, So it was kind of a necessity, a thing, I just had to do it, but now I'm used to it. So
what do you like? You talked about you built a pedal too. What kind of pedal did you build?
I got one right here. I got a bunch of them.
Oh, cool.
It's simple, but a loop box pedal, like you run all your pedals through one and you can turn them all on with a click of one pedal. I made that, but nobody had done this yet. So like this is a momentary, but this one latches it in fully. So you can turn on a few effects and just momentarily bring them in, or you can latch them in and they stay. It's pretty simple.
When you press it down, everything's
Yeah,
engaged. And then when you take the foot off,
and then let go.
Dude, that's
But then
cool.
when it's clicked in, this turns into momentary off. So if you're using a delay or something, but you want to do a quick breakdown with just a riff and no delay, you can hold your foot down real quick, let go. And I added a blend knob. Actually, you can blend how much of the effects chain you want in this.
Wow.
So the idea is you have multiple pedals on, or a few on one and a few on another, and you can have like 4 of these on the front of your board and kind of control everything. But it was just something I looked up on the internet to see if they had made yet, and nobody had. So I was like,
Yeah, I've never heard of it. That's a great idea, though. That's awesome. I haven't heard a unique pedal idea in a long time, so that's refreshing.
Yeah, you can't really see the chip in there, but I designed the chip and had them printed, and I think people are just missing. There's one key thing that you have to do to that to make it work. And being an electrician, I think I thought outside of the box, and I actually took it to my uncle that's an electronic engineer, and he hooked it up, and he's like, I don't know how this works, but it works great. It's like, I don't know what you did, but yeah. So that's just something I've been messing around with, and
do you want to make another Tube Screamer?
yeah. So I'm more looking into the control side of it. Because I do, as far as favorite gear when I get home, but it would probably be my real pedal board. I love that thing. And I mean, the idea is I'll create the songs on my real pedals. I'm not saying that Helix isn't real, but, and then transfer everything over, this song has this patch for whatever, and this song has this. But I really love to play my pedal board and just mess around, having all those effects in front of me. I'm a nerd for, techie stuff. So I'm trying to get more into techie stuff, but to me, a bunch of pedals kind of blows my mind because I've done thrash metal my whole life. So getting into this much gear has been, I don't know. exciting, but also like, man, what else is out there? I don't even want to think about it.
I don't know if it's completely mental or not, but there's just something about physically turning knobs and it doing something like on a circuit versus in the Helix, where it's just like it's a digital knob.
Yeah. And the feeling of the, I personally like Boss pedals, the way that they feel, just it's satisfying.
Do you have a hot take about the DS1 or the Metal Zone?
I use the Metal Zone.
Yeah.
I've had the same Metal Zone since I was like, I don't know, 14. Probably the first pedal I bought besides a tuner.
Yeah.
But I use it for like just a scoop, do like just all mids or, no mids, whatever, and just for little guitar breakdowns. That's all I use it for. The first album or demo we ever recorded when we were teenagers, we literally plugged my Metal Zone that I've had forever into the input jack of a computer. No cab emulator, no nothing, just fuzz. It
Yeah.
was terrible.
Thank you to Justin Coleman for chatting with me today. Justin is just really a good bro. He's done a lot of cool things for Rocklock already, and for being on my tiny YouTube channel also. So Justin, thank you. I appreciate it. Again, Amerakin Overdose, new album, Artificial Infection, out right now. Link in the description. Go check it out. And if you want to learn more about any of the gear I use, links are in the description. If you have any questions for me or Justin, go ahead and drop a comment and we'll try to get back to you. And make sure you like and subscribe and do all those things to help the algorithm. And if you made it this far, I thank you. You are the best. That's all I got for you. So thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.